Hey, I asked you earlier. I'm going to ask Berube this question. Craig Berube, former Flyers head coach. Because you couldn't give me an answer. I mean, you didn't understand the question.
I didn't understand the question, Mike. I was reading
Is that surprising? Is that surprising that you didn't understand the question? Former Flyers head coach Craig Berube joins us now here on the Bash 97.3 ESPN. Coach, how are you?
We're good. How are you guys?
What's up, Chief?
We're doing well. Are you surprised that Billy didn't understand a simple question I asked him?
I'm surprised you're even on radio.
I asked him this simple question. I said, if the Flyers never made the Lindros deal, would they have won a cup?
You don't know. That's impossible to answer, to be honest with you. You can't look at it that way. Like, would they have had a good team? Yeah, they would have had a good team. But they had a good team with Lindros, too. They went to the finals. He got injured, obviously, earlier than, expected. So that kind of, made it like where they might have won a cup if he didn't get injured. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree that there is no obvious right or wrong answer. You just say, yeah. But they gave up a lot of guys that ended up helping Colorado win a couple of cups, and you wonder if they would have built around Forsberg instead of Lindros, would they, in fact, have been the team that won multiples?
Who won? The guys that in the trade, Forsberg obviously is the main guy, and he turned out to be a great player in his own right. But other than that, like, really, did they? Who else helped Colorado win cups that they sent there?
Yeah. No, and that's fair. You're right.
And that's what I said, right, Mike?
Yeah, no, I just wonder if building around Forsberg would have been a better decision than building around Lindros in hindsight.
And
Who
even
knows?
though I wasn't right with understand the question, my answer was right. So.
Who knows? I mean, like, he was a great player himself, Forsberg. But so was Lindros. I mean, there was years where, he was the best player in the league. Now, could you have said that about Forsberg? Was he the best player in the league ever? Did anybody consider him the best player in the league? I mean, he was close, I guess, but, I think Lindros was, considered the best player in the league for a few years.
Craig Berube's our guest. Craig, let me ask you, when that trade happened, he's drafted number 1, he won't play for Quebec, the Rangers and the Flyers get into this kind of bidding war. What was the, talk, the scuttlebutt around the league through the players? Were you guys looking at this guy like, how dare you don't want to play for the team that drafts you? How ridiculous is Philly and New York going for this trade? Or was it like, wow, the Flyers just scored big? Do you remember what it was like around the league when that Lindros thing happened?
I don't really remember, but I'm sure players were turned off a little bit by, somebody going, well, I'm not going to go here, I'm not going to go there. But, I mean, you can understand the Flyers, the Rangers, teams that, spent a lot of money in those days, with free agency and everything. Going after a guy like that, they knew how good he was going to be and what he was going to be like. Even though he said, well, I'm not going to go to Quebec. To get a player like that in your team, it's pretty special, I think.
Hey, Chief, this is Schweiner. How many games did you get a chance to go up against? How often did you play against Eric Lindros? How many times did you go up against him?
Oh, I don't know, quite a few. I mean, I was in Washington for a number of years when, he was in Philly, so I played against him a lot.
Well, you're a big guy and you used to take the body a lot, Chief. Explain to our listeners. I mean, he's a pretty intimidating presence on the ice, or he's just, you have to play him a different way, right?
Well, he's a big guy, and he could skate and play. He was tough to handle. To be honest with you, he was physical, and he's really hard to control down low. He was so big and strong. He was an intimidating player for sure in different ways, not just one way, not just a physical way. Scoring, controlling a play, like he's so big, shooting a puck. He had a great shot. He had a lot of good things going.
We're talking with Craig Berube. He's up for the Hall of Fame. They're going to make that announcement here in about a half an hour or so, along with Mark Recchi, Recchi Roenick, Pat Quinn, a bunch of guys ties to the Flyers. Any of those four guys you think are getting in today or deserve to be in today?
Do I think they deserve to be in?
Yeah.
Two of them for sure, Roenick and Recchi. They both have 500 goals or more. I mean, I don't see how you can keep a guy that scored 500 goals in the National Hockey League. They have 1,000 points. I don't see how you keep them out. But I mean, I'm not obviously on that panel how they choose and all that. Mark Recchi for sure has got 3 cups, 3 different teams. He's been a great player for a long time. He's in for sure in my opinion. I don't see how you can keep him out. Roenick, I think, has 517 goals or something. I think it's going to be really hard to keep him off, too.
Other guys on the list, Dave Anderchuk, Theon Fleury, Curtis Joseph, Paul Correa. Anybody? Alexander Mogilny, Chris Osgood.
Yeah. I had a flashback to my childhood with these names.
Anybody jump out at you, Chief?
I think a guy that's interesting for me is Dave Anderchuk. He's got 600 and some goals in his career, but is he a Hall of Fame type player? No, not really, but he did it in his own way. Do you know what I mean? He's very good around the net, big guy, got a lot of goals around the net, tipping pucks, screens, things like that, in tight goals, but he was very good at it, and made a great career out of it. So there's a lot of interesting guys like that. I think that, I don't know, it's tough. It's tough to choose. I don't know what their guidelines, all their guidelines are.
How about this? I mean, Lindros is obviously the big name on that list, and you mentioned the other two guys. Do you think Lindros is he's not ahead of the other two guys, Roenick and Recchi?
Well, he's not ahead of Recchi for me because of what Recchi's accomplished in his career with the 3 cups. I think that puts him ahead. And his point production it's really good over the years. He's always produced, scored, passed. He's kind of a complete player in my opinion. But we got to look at Lindros and his points per game because he didn't have a career as long as he should have because of injury. And there's been other guys that are put in the Hall of Fame because of the same thing. And, Ken Neely, and Lindros, he, in my opinion, was a game changer. He was just a different player than anybody else that was in the league.
Yeah, and another interesting, Craig, it's well documented the issues between him and Clarkey, and Clarkey's on that panel.
That's pretty interesting.
And apparently he is pushing for Lindros. Is that surprising, knowing what they've gone through? Yeah?
No, not at all. I think when you're a GM and a player or a coach and a player and you're butting heads about things or, maybe the GM wanted to, change him in some way a little bit, whatever it is. I mean, that's part of it all. Now that he's not associated with them in that way, Clarkey's going to do what he feels is the right thing. And what he believes, if he believes that he should be in the Hall of Fame, then he'll vote for him to be in.
Craig Berube's with us. The Hall of Fame announcement comes up at 3:30 today. We'll let you know who gets in. While we got you, Coach, did you get a chance to keep an eye on your former team this year? And do you like the direction that they're going? A lot of young players, it looks like, and making the playoffs.
Yeah, no, they did. I thought they really picked their game up, and later on in the season, the play in New Birth really picked them up, and Gostisbehere, I thought, really pushed their team to a different level when he was there. And they're going in the right direction. They got a lot of good young picks. They had a lot of picks again in this draft, so they got a lot of good young players coming up. So. I'm not saying they're all going to play, but they're really going to look closely and keep the right ones. They can move some other ones, make some trades here and there now, and really form a well-balanced team.
Chief, how disappointed were you that you didn't get a chance to keep with the team and see these guys through a little bit longer than you had the opportunity to?
Well, you're always disappointed. I mean, I was there a long time, so you don't want to leave. You don't want to be let go, but that's part of the business. You got to deal with it and move on. I've moved on right from when I was let go. It's over. So I don't sit there and worry about it or cry about it. I had a good run with those guys. They gave me a great opportunity to coach there for a long time. That's the way I look at it.
What's on the horizon for you, Chief?
Yeah, just I'm going to be coaching again. Just not quite sure where yet. So I want to get back into it, and I missed it. So I'll be coaching again this year.
One of the good guys in hockey there, Mike Gill, Craig Berube.
We'll keep an eye on. He's been on the show many times. By the way, that Dave Anderchuk, did he used to have I think he had a bar in Tampa that I've been at a few times, right across from the arena down there. Was there a place called Anderchuk's?
Oh, is that right? I've never been there.
I think so. All right. Sports Match 97.3. Go ahead.
He might have one. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. No, I think there
You've been in plenty of bars. You're not sure if Anderchuk has one there, Chief?
Anderchuk. Well, Coach, we appreciate a couple minutes, and, we'll be keeping an eye on your next move. We appreciate your insight, though.
Thank you very much.